So, as we were saying, today, Wednesday, March 6th, BPTH is still going on this play. I'm just going to talk about this whole entire play right now. We are currently up 107%. And as I was saying, this whole entire move is basically textbook. This whole entire move right here is textbook, guys. And it is following everything I teach almost to the exact, pin. And let's break this down start to finish because there's so much that we could talk about on this play. My head's about to explode. And let's see if this thing is going to be able to run up towards $10. So this stock already opened up at right around the $7.50 mark and has run up towards around the $10 mark. This is our first nice big explosion. Absolutely awesome. And if we look again, even back in pre-market right here, let's change the time frame to around a 5-minute time frame. We could see we actually exploded from around $4.78 all the way up towards around $10. Huge rip. We've gone on about a $5 spike so far today. From the start of pre-market to right now, we are currently up about $5. That is awesome. Now, with that being said, let's break down the reasonings on why BPTH is ripping, why BPTH is running, why BPTH is, getting on this nice big rip and this nice big play. With that being said, let's start from scratch. This stock did come out with a press release this morning. It had clinical updates on its phase 2 trial that have to do with leukemia. We could see at its phase 2 study, we demonstrate meaningful clinical improvement with excellent patient safety profile, right? So we have an update from phase 2 study that demonstrates meaningful clinical improvement with excellent patient safety profile on its phase 2 trials having to do with leukemia. That is huge. That is absolutely huge because if we look at our keywords to look for in hot press releases right here, we have the word phase 2, 2-star word. We have the word positive right here, or the word cancer right here, and cancer has to do with leukemia. So we have phase 2, we have leukemia. We also are seeing, great other keywords such as meaningful, meaningful, obviously important, excellent, obviously a great positive keyword. And so we have an update on a 2-star phase 2 trials on leukemia, cancer, which is a 3-star word, demonstrating meaningful, also important improvements with excellent patient studies, right? So that's awesome. That's, that's an absolutely great press release to see right here. So BPTH, that's why the stock started getting some nice hype. But with that being said, there's so much more, right? There's so much more on why the stock is ripping on up. Why else is the stock ripping on up? Because it's a low float stock. Look at everything that's popping up on the high of the day momentum scanner right now. It's 316,000 in float, right? So it's an extremely low float stock, right? And as we know, the float is the shares offered to the public. The lower the float, the higher the demand, the bigger the spike. So if we're seeing 316,000 shares, that's an extremely low float play, right? Extremely low float play. So we have a press release that has hot keywords. We have an extremely low float play. Anything considered, under 3 million is going to be considered a low float. What else do we have? But wait, there's more. We have a very nice big spike on Friday, right? Look at Friday's rip. On Friday, we can see that this stock went from 250 all the way up to 880. So we already know this is a very relevant play, right? When you're very relevant, you're going to probably bring in more sales. You're going to have, more people trading this. And I'm saying sales because I'm kind of thinking of it, imagine a band, imagine a musician, right? A lot of times, especially like in today's world, if like a musician all of a sudden becomes very relevant, like what happens? They usually put out new songs and they put out as much stuff as they can because they're very relevant at the time, right? If you think of, let's say, a rock star or let's say a rapper or some pop artist that puts out a song right now that hasn't been relevant in 10 to 15 years, right? They're not going to sell as many hot songs as when they were in their prime, right? When they were in their prime back in the day when they were doing a lot better. So being relevant is kind of the same exact thing in the stock market. Everyone is aware of BPTH right now. It went on a $6 spike on Friday. People are loving BPTH. BPTH right now is in its prime, right? It's not just a random play out of nowhere. People have had this on their watch list for the past 3 days now. So we have a low float stock. We have a great press release. We have the stock being relevant from a previous spike. But wait, there's more. I feel like I'm giving an info commercial right now. Get your ShamWows for $19.99. What do we have on BPTH? We are also seeing a setup on a mid-candle breakout pattern, right? So we have a mid-candle breakout pattern setup, which you guys are all already fully aware of. And this is one of DekmarTrades' go-to patterns that I teach here, right? So we have DekmarTrades' go-to patterns that I teach where we have a beautiful spike. You can see nice big rip, green day, green day, green day, green day. We have our pullback down to the middle candle of the spike, and then we get our nice big rip on up, right? So again, another example of a mid-candle breakout pattern. Another great, example, nice big spike, red day, nice big spike, nice big spike, red day, nice big spike. Again, I don't make these things up, guys. These are from studying. Look at BPTH take off. It's taking the wheels off right now, guys. It's burning rubber. This thing is moving. And it's because more activity is getting into it. More emotions are getting into it. More traders are seeing it. More people are wanting to buy it and buy it and buy it. So BPTH, this stock has run so far because it has a press release. This stock has run so far because of the low float. This stock has run so far because it's relevant on a $6 spike on Friday. This stock has run so far because it has a mid-candle breakout pattern. These are all the main reasons on why this stock has brought in so much attention, so much hype, and so much big-time ripping. So BPTH came out with that press release right at 8 o'clock, and that's where things started getting exciting. Now let's break this down a little bit more. And what can we see on this play on BPTH? First things first, guys, BPTH opens up, and we can see we get a nice little spike up towards where? Right around 785, right? So we do get a little 785, top resistance, right around 775. Forms a little bit of a U shape, breaks 775, runs up towards around 830. That could be a nice area. Let's just get rid of this line, though, if you wanted to maybe look for that U-shaped breakout pattern. But then what really started happening? Stock came back on down, and we got a nice bounce play. From right here, we can know that we have our bounce play, our trend line set up. All you need when you guys are looking to set up your trend line is going to be what? Point A, right here, and point B. So once we find A, and once we find B, what can we do? All we got to do is drag this orange line up, and we just place it right there, and we will have our trend line most likely for the day. So again, we trend it right here, bada boom, and we can look for a bounce play right on the VWAP, right at 760, right? And we can look for a bounce play right down towards around $8, or a bounce play right at 805, or a bounce play, right towards around that 760 mark, right? That's all very nice. So we had a beautiful trend line throughout the first, hour, 2 hours of this whole entire day, which was awesome. And we really didn't see that big time explosion. We didn't really see that big time, rip and run that, really gets traders even more fired up. I mean, we were up like 65% on a low float stock with great news. And as I already showed you guys, off a ton of profits, right? A ton of big profits. And I already showed you guys this, of course. Taylor Trader 2,000, Valor 5,000, Burrow 5,000, Moscani 1,400. It just keeps going. A ton of big time profits. But BPTH, where else was the predictability now after the trend line, cracked? Well, how high did we run up to? 875, right? We came right up to 875, and we put a line right here. What do we know about 875 that I taught you guys? 875 is going to be a key resistance line. There's actually a lesson in the video library called the 875 rule, where we go over and we talk about 875 and how crucial this resistance line is. And as I talk about, it comes down to a lot of psychology. It comes down to a lot of psychology on the fact that if you come up to 875, traders are just going to say, hey, let's push this up to $10. It's the same concept as if you think about, or for example, before I go into this, I want to talk about, we know our very strong resistance lines are what areas? $1, $5, and $10, right? Going from 99 cents to $1 is a big area because you're pushing the stock from 99 cents now $1 per share. going from $4.99 to now $5.01. It's only 2 pennies, but it's a big area for the stock because you're going to the upper half of the single digits, and you're going from $9.99 to now $10 per share because you see what the stock is going from single digits to double digits. A lot of the times, probably 8 out of 10 times, if you guys see a stock spiking from a very low area and it gets up to, for example, for the $1 area, if you see a stock go from 40 cents to $7.75 or 75 cents, 80 cents, usually you just run up to $1. And if you see a stock run from $6, $7, and you go to $8.75, you are probably going to be seeing $10. Now, this happens after a U-shape forms. So, for instance, if you are running up to $1 from 30 cents, you usually run up to right around 80 cents, fall as people sell it off, then it U-shapes, breaks out to $1. If you guys are running up to $10 or that $8.75 mark, you run up to $8.75, you get some selling, it U-shapes, breaks of $8.75, you get that nice big run and nice big rip. $1, $10, $5, this is like gravity. You get sucked to it. People all have their sell targets right at these areas. So people are going to have sell targets at $1, $5, $10. That's their sell targets at those marks. So if we think about it, we know people aren't selling at those marks then, right? People are not selling at those marks. People are going to be, people are going to be buying until they get to those marks. So it's not like people are going to be dumping off at 850 or 820, or 950 or 925. They're selling at the resistance areas. That's where a lot of traders like to sell. Not many people are selling if it comes up in U-shapes through 80 cents. They're not going to sell at 83 or 84. They're going to sell at $1, right? That's where your sell target is. People aren't going to be dumping it off. So if everyone's holding and everyone's buying, the stock only goes up. So for instance, again, let me show you guys this for MTP, right? MTP, this stock went from, again, 14 cents, spiked up to 80 cents, had that big pullback, and then ran all the way up to $1, right? Because that dollar is like gravity, and then it sold on off. And then if we look at BPTH that we were looking at, this stock ran up to 875, had the pullback, run back up to 875, shot all the way up to $10. I was like screaming before, this is free money. This is like a game show. You know how they watch a game show, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the show, it's just like all of a sudden you just hear like, and you're just like, oh, you know what that sound means, and you're just like, I really don't know, but sure, it's like you get a free gift, right? And what's the free gift? Just that nice profit when the stock goes from $8.75 and runs right up to $9.50, $9.75, $10, right? If you notice that you have a big time breakout and you have an $8.75 second touch coming on up, that's the horn. That's the that free gift coming on up, right? And that's where you see that nice big rips and the nice big climb. Notice what else? What time did this happen? Right next to 11 o'clock. So we saw a nice big breakout right next to 11 o'clock. So not only did we have a mid-candle breakout pattern on a low float stock with good news on a relevant play, we also had a beautiful trend line which held this whole entire time. The stock, again, hit 875, formed a U-shape pattern, 875 rule, spiked all the way up to $10, and now is right around the $10 mark starting to sell on off. There was so much going on to this play today and so many areas of predictability that, there's just so much that could have happened. There's so many different areas to profit, which I'm super excited about. And it's not even, as I said, guys, like if you guys didn't make $1 on this play today, it's okay. You know why? Because we saw BPTH spike on Friday, and we saw a JMU spike on Monday, and we saw PETZ spike yesterday, and then today we're seeing BPTH. You guys are not, let's say, if you miss one day, it doesn't mean anything. You miss one day, get fired up for tomorrow, right? Because we're seeing a lot of big time rips, and it does not seem like it's slowing down. Now, could we have a slow afternoon or slow lunch hours? Absolutely. But you guys should be fired up in chat, ready to rock and roll, because again, this is the time that you guys can make money. I'm fired up, and I know you guys are as well. So again, there's a lot of awesome predictability in these stocks, and being able to see so many people bank, that's absolutely great as well. So a lot of potential can still to come. We have right now it's 11:15 a.m. We do know the end of the morning market ends right around 12 o'clock. I would probably say watch for a pullback coming up in the next few minutes. Consolidation for about 30 minutes, and then after that consolidation, guys, watch for an end of the morning market pop. BPTH, this is where the mob is at, this is where activity's at, but guess what? You know, this is where, even if it falls right here, traders are probably going to try to push this up for an end of the morning market pop, you know, probably in about 35 minutes or so. And if there is an end of the morning market pop, it'll definitely be on BPTH, as, you know, traders are probably going to look for this area. Where can you look to buy the stock? If you guys are saying, hey, Dek, bounce play area, where would I want? Probably the best bounce play area would be at the VWAP at this time. But you can still extend this line out. I know it cracked this line for a moment, but you can still extend this line out all the way from this morning, and you'll probably still get a nice bounce right around this 975 mark. You'd also see it bounce at 975 as well. So not only do you have trend line support, you also have this area right here. So a lot of good stuff coming up right here, guys. Definitely be ready. Get fired up. I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Awesome job on BPTH.